Hey guys, what's up? Today we're going to talk about holsters, or a couple different holsters, for the Taurus TX22. Let's get into it. Alright, so real quick, usually that means I have a sponsor. Technically I do. I just showed you the holster, but one of the holster companies did send me a holster, but it's not for this gun, so it's not really associated with them. But I didn't pay for that holster. Let's move on. Wow, that was really crazy. All right, so here we go. I almost said S15. I just shot a video on the S15, so not those. The Taurus TX22, the 22 pistol, right? This is a pretty cool pistol. It's got a lot of different advantages, disadvantages, whatever, but it's a 22 pistol. And I recently brought this guy out to try to go shoot some small game and just, you know, have some fun and stuff. And I didn't have a holster for it, and I carried it just like this. So the TX22 with an Olight, which one is this? This is the Balder S, right? Or the Balder Pro. It's got a laser on it and stuff, whatever. But I have that, and then I also have the Odessa 9. And yes, this is an Odessa 9. This is not a 22 caliber suppressor. Works as a 22 caliber suppressor because it's user serviceable, yada yada. Don't bark at me for those things. I know it's not the best thing, and I know they don't recommend that you use it, but it does work. It functions. Not the best thing out there, but it functions. Anyway, I have to throw those disclaimers out there because somebody's going to ask questions about it. So anyway, I brought this guy out just to plink around and maybe shoot some small game and stuff like that. And it was fun, but I didn't have a holster. So really what I ended up doing is carrying this thing unloaded because I didn't have a holster, just shoved down in my pants. Now I didn't have a problem coming out because it's got a big long suppressor on it, and it's fine. It was okay, and it was unloaded, so it's safe. It's all that good stuff. But it was a pain in the butt, right? I'm walking around in the middle of the woods, you know, going around and stuff. And after a while, it just got tiresome, you know, it just shifted around and stuff. And so I finally just took it out and stuck it in my backpack. And the one time I was able to use it, I had to take my backpack off, get the gun out, and thankfully the thing that I was shooting at hadn't disappeared, and I was able to do what I needed to do. But the thing is that it was such a pain because I had to literally have to take the backpack off, rummage through the backpack, and do all that stuff. Because I was thinking, I don't have a holster for this guy. Well, I did have a holster. I actually had a couple of holsters that would have worked for this if I had thought with my noodle and put two and two together. So we're gonna talk about two different holsters that I have, that if you have those holsters and you have a Taurus TX22 and you wanna carry it and you don't wanna get a specific holster for this, this is what you can do. First one we're gonna go over is the most expensive option. This is the, I believe it's called the X-Fur by Armadillo. So this is a holster that is specifically made to work with the Surefire, make sure I say this right, but the Surefire X300UA, right? So the mounting option that's not the little clip on the side, but it has this little bar in the middle that goes down, right? It's specifically made to work with this flashlight. And the intent behind this is basically if you have this holster and this light, as long as you have a gun that fits this light, it should work with the holster, right? You can run suppressed pistols. It's not necessarily just for suppressed pistols, but the fact that it can hold most handguns that will use this light, this holster can work with it, okay? It's kind of a do-all holster, but it works pretty good, and I specifically got it because I wanted to be able to run suppressed guns with it. So if I had thought about this, then I would have taken off the Olight, that makes a lot of you happy, put on a Surefire, right, which locks into that rail just fine, and then even with the suppressor, I would have had a holster that would have worked perfectly fine for the TX22. I would have had to either put this on a different loop system thing, whatever, or I could have just worn my war belt, which would have been fine because it has a dump pouch. I could have put stuff in there, shells and whatever, and that would have been perfectly fine. It actually would have been pretty smart, but I didn't think about it. But this would have worked perfectly fine. This would have been a great option because I already had it. Now, if you don't have one of these, and you don't have a Surefire, and you don't want to spend bukus of money, there's an option that you can also do. You can go ahead and get you a We the People. See, We the People, yeah. You know, you can get a We the People holster. This is for the Glock, I think it's the Glock 2217, so the full-size Glocks, right? Not with any light accessories, attachment, things, whatever. And the one problem that I've ever had, the main problem that I've ever had with We the People holsters, especially their outside the waistband holsters, is they just seem kind of flimsy and floppy, just a little bit. I wish they were a little bit more sturdy for what I like them for. But for this application, it actually works because in conjunction with, in conjunction with a small, thin suppressor, right? So like a 1-inch in diameter suppressor, which the Odessa is, or if I got the mask and put it on here, or a lot of 22 suppressors are that 1 inch, they're smaller. This gun without a light easily fits right down in there. So I wouldn't have had to wear a war belt or any other kind of thing. I would have just been able to clip this guy, slide it right into my pants, and had a good functioning holster for the TX22. I know it's not the prettiest thing, but honestly, that is perfectly fine. And I'm not trying to be super sneaky quiet. I just wanted something that I could stick on my belt, securely hold my gun, and it's totally secured in there. It's not gonna fall out. I mean, if I shook it real hard, it would, but I'm not rappelling and doing crazy stuff. But it actually has retention, and it has a long draw to get it out, right? So it's gonna be secure. So walking through the woods and all that stuff, yeah, you might scratch up your suppressor. I don't care. You're not gonna damage anything doing that. And it's totally covering up the trigger guard, right? So you're totally covered in that area, so it could have been loaded and ready to go. It would have made life a lot simpler. Anyway, so those are 2 little options for you. I wish I'd have thought about that. So the takeaway from this is think outside the box. If you have a new gun, if you have a new thing, whatever it is, well, specifically, if you have a gun that you don't have a holster for, think about other things you might have. It's not recommended that you go out and just use something that's not made for something else, okay? Read between the lines what I'm saying there. But in this instance, this had good retention, has good retention, covers the trigger guard. It would have safely carried the firearm. In the same way is if I used the Armadillo, it would have done the same thing. It would have gone in, it safely covers the trigger area, could have carried the gun loaded, could have carried it just like this, and it would have worked just fine. So think outside the box. You might actually have the things that you need, and you may not have to go out and buy some special item, right? Some special holster. A lot of times you probably may already have what you're looking for. Anyway, guys, I hope you found that interesting, helpful. If you're the small niche of people that have a Torx TS22 and you have these 2 holsters, well, there you go. You already have holsters for your gun. You don't have to go buy a new one. Anyway, y'all be good to be safe. Hope you enjoyed that. Hopefully we'll catch you on the next video.